Welcome to Speakernomics, the official podcast of the National Speakers Association. I am Kenneth, Kinney, but friends call me Shark. And like you, I'm a professional speaker and I love listening to Speakernomics. Speakernomics is a professional speaker show that will help you thrive and grow a speaking business so you too can change the world one keynote, session, workshop, and speech at a time. And on today's episode, we welcome Jeff Civillico. Jeff is a CSP, a Hall of Fame keynote speaker, an MC, three-time Best of Las Vegas winner, as well as being named a Las Vegas Entertainer of the Year. He's a philanthropist connecting people and audiences all over the world. Jeff, welcome to Speakernomics. How are you today?
Kenneth, great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, to all my speaking friends, you got a booking. Yay. Now what? You look at a lot of businesses and they get in that churn and burn cycle with new customers, and it's transaction only. What's the next one? It's an addiction that I call acquisition. But what about the relationships that can help you build a lot more gigs over the long term? What do you need to do before, now, and after? What are you doing to differentiate yourself from the other speakers? Is this part of a transactional relationship, or do you want a lot more? And before we jump in, make sure to go to Speakernomics.com. That's where you can find the tips, insights, and knowledge to help you become a better speaker, build a better business, and get paid to speak. Jeff, let's dive in. So let's talk first about what should we think about doing differently before an event.
Well, you hit on it when you said relationships. It's all about the relationships. And I think we all know that theoretically, but I think we could all stand to put that into practice a little bit more right off the bat. So let's say you get your booking, contract comes in, great. I would recommend as soon as possible connecting with your client. Now, you may have already had a pitch meeting, anything like that, but maybe the event, the keynote isn't for another 6 months, a year plus. I would have that discovery call ASAP for a couple reasons. Number one, you are seeing them face to face and you are building the relationship. Maybe this was booked through a bureau. If you have a salesperson, et cetera, you didn't have much one-on-one interaction. So you want them to feel your energy, feel your passion. You make that connection. Now you're able to connect online, on social media, LinkedIn, perhaps Instagram, et cetera, if appropriate. And now they're seeing all of the great things you're doing for the next 6 months plus before your keynote. So they're getting more excited because they're, oh, this person's great. Look at this, right? Maybe also they're getting additional ideas. Oh, I didn't realize Jeff also has a team building service event. We're looking to fill that. Great. Wouldn't have thought of that, right? I have different email signatures where I can subtly change intentionally based on who I'm talking to and why. If someone is looking to hire me as a keynote speaker, I'm going to select the one that has my CPAE Hall of Fame video in there. So, oh, wow, I didn't realize this. That's way stronger, letting them find it on their own, discover it, than me saying, did you know I was recently inducted into the Hall of Fame, right? Now, let's say they've already hired me as a speaker. I'm going to switch that email signature to the MC one. Let's say, oh, wow, we were looking for an MC for our awards banquet that night. Would you stay and MC? Yes, for an additional XYZ, right? So again, I think there's just a relationship aspect of why it's important to make that connection first, but also for business. I mean, the longer period that you know your client and your client knows you before the event, opportunities for upselling, for sure, opportunities to build the excitement and anticipation, but also this is a subjective business. Whether or not someone is really great on stage can be related to how much that person is liked, your likability factor, right? So let's say you absolutely murder for an audience, but you and the meeting planner just didn't get along, you rub each other the wrong way. That report might go back to the bureau and be like, yeah, she was solid. Yeah, yeah, people were very happy with him. That's very different than, oh my gosh, he was amazing. She killed it. Oh, we can't wait. Oh, okay, is next year too soon to have her back? And again, why not start building that relationship so they actually want you to succeed and they want to be your champion? Not just back for that gig, but for any other spin that comes, any friends they have in the industry, any other events that they know of. Et cetera. So there's no reason to not build that relationship as soon as possible. Obviously, even before the contract is signed, but especially once that contract is signed and that is just the beginning.
What do you do then to differentiate yourself in the now, sort of where people are with, I mean, obviously there's the performance you do on stage, but there's a lot more to it than just that.
Yeah, I think it's all about just remembering how special this event is to your people. Because for us, this might be one of, two bookings we do that week, might be one of 100 we do that year. It's another gig, right? We want to treat it well, we want it to go well, but at the end of the day, we're moving on to the next one, and that's that. In some of these situations, people have been working on this event for 12 months or more, and they might have one signature event each year, or maybe there's two or three. They put their heart and soul. They are so excited. So don't rob them of that joy. Let them tell you how excited they are for the opening reception, or the way the ballroom is set up, or the signage or the flower arrangement, right? Like, be there, be fully present, and share in that joy with them. So when you're on site, you could either show up for your time, your sound check is this time, do your thing, leave, or you could really commit to being fully present there. And I talk about engaging physically as well as engaging digitally. So let's go digital first. Promote the event, share the event, tag people. Wow, how awesome is this? You're here, this beautiful dessert reception, tag all the companies, is that people notice that kind of stuff. They're like, he actually cares. He wants to be here. I all the time, I watch other speakers and I take good pictures for them and I post and I tag them. And it just kind of creates that general vibe that I'm part of the team, that I'm not just dropping in, give me the mic, all right, let's go kind of attitude. So I think that's really important. And as well as physically engaging, being there as much as you can for those extra events, for those, receptions or dinners, or hanging with the sponsors, all of that. Like, clients can tell and appreciate it.
And the bar is low. Look, I've been a speaker on and off for years and learned a lot as a speaker to try to help promote them in their event. I don't think I fully quite grasped that until I put on my own event on my own dime, coming out of my own wallet with my credit card. Mm-hmm. The bar was so low that I noticed how much different I will do this. They suggested they would do this for me versus I have to push and prod other people to text me when they get there. There's such a divide that we are able to cross that will help it not, and I don't mean just me, but any event planner. This was a big deal to me that consumed 6 months of my life. I get it that me, even as a speaker, it helped me reframe. I need to start thinking more individually. Every one of those events are just as important to that meeting planner, conference organizer, or owner. That finally hit me like an anvil. Yeah, this is a big deal for them.
100%. And to me, it's so obvious. You just have to do it. Like, I host conferences. They send you the info for the app, right? I don't really need the app. Like, I don't need the app, but like, I download the app and I write. As soon as I do, I post. I put my profile picture in there and I post, hey, I'm so excited to be hosting your conference. Da, 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 da. Like, I kind of generate buzz. There's nobody else has made a comment or in the feed. I'll recap a speaker and then I'll post it in the feed on the app. And then the next time I'm on stage, I'll say, hey, a lot of you had said that was a great recap and they liked some of the insights I pulled, some of the gems. So I posted it in the app. I also posted on LinkedIn and tagged whoever. Make sure you're tagging this association and go follow them. If you're not already following them, there's like great content on there. Like, just be a champion for the event. To me, it's so obvious. But it's also very easy not to do because we are all really busy, which is why I actually have a booking template checklist. I use a program called Things with Mac, and it's a to-do list, and it's a template so that when I get a booking, if you saw the steps, there's like 40 steps in there. You're like, oh my gosh, because there's work to do before to connect with everybody online, to set yourself up for success, to go that extra mile. There's work to do during the event. There's work to do after the event. And over the long term, like, that means I get a lot more testimonials and a lot more professional pictures and videos from the events, because it literally is in my process to connect with those photographers and videographers and, with testimonials and et cetera. And that doesn't happen by accident because we're all really busy and we go on to the next one. It's so easy to be like, I never posted from that event. Now it's like, that was 3 events ago. It's like, I don't ever really not post an event I'm doing before, during, and after, because it's like, I got to check it off the list. Like it's business, and that forces me sometimes to think, oh, I should create a post about this. It forces me to actually then do it and get creative and say, okay, I want to do this. I haven't done anything like this yet. Let me think about what this would take to do this, as opposed to just being like, I was posting for a while, but it's been 3 weeks and I haven't posted any of my last events. Like, shoot, it's not happenstance. Like it's very methodical for me, at least.
Depending on what type of gig, obviously it makes a difference whether or not it's something for social media or an introduction via email or whatever it is. But do you share that process with them before, or are they just generally surprised by this process? Because I have my own list and I don't share it with them generally, but every time it seems to be what Michael Port will call a surprise and delight, to them that I do this thing. Oh yes, it happens to be number 17 on my list, but to them, each time you hit it, it's like a new home run.
Exactly. Yes, I do not share that publicly with clients. In my opinion, it's better to surprise and delight.
Yes.
And a lot of it is internal for me, right? So I'll have like a pre-pack, an advanced pack, and day of pack. Just so right? So my pre-pack is like done. You know what I mean? That's stuff that I bring every time. My show clothes, my this, that. But then, my day of pack is like my laptop, my retainers, my like all the stuff I want to grab, in the morning when I wake up. But it's in there for every single gig, because some events that I do will require me to bring very specific things. I just did a big event for EY. I had a custom bright yellow suit as like a reveal that I did at the end last time on stage. I got a yellow suit made and tailored, and yellow shoes and all. I got that done way ahead of time. I needed to remember to grab that and put it in there. So like that went into the EY advanced pack, template when I had that, so that it was very easy for me to keep track of all this stuff.
So I feel like I'm going to hear the spirit of Lois Kramer on Clubhouse with me in the past talk about this next question: aftercare. What are you doing from an aftercare perspective? This is one of our favorite topics.
Yeah.
To differentiate yourself with your clients after the event.
Yep. So I always think about this. I think most speakers think that the majority of their work is done at the event, of course, and then in terms of like the life cycle of an event, maybe afterwards. Because like, all right, now they're a client, now I can maybe like sell to them or spin or get them. In my opinion, if it should kind of be flip the opposite. If you have done so much before that you've built a strong relationship, a lot of the aftercare is easier. And I will have my friends say to me, hey, how do you get so many testimonials? Like, I can't get the testimonials because like I know I did a good job, but like they don't write me back after the event because they're on to the next thing, and sometimes I forget and this and that. And I say like you're kind of asking the wrong question. It's really like, how do you build a relationship with them that makes them want to do that for you, because they feel like they're letting down a friend if they don't. So when you can move your clients from transactional business relationships to friends that you don't want to they don't want to let you down, that's a really good place to be. So when I think about aftercare for my events, it's everything from sending gifts, which again, same principle applies. People ask me all the time, what gift should I get my client? I'm like, wrong question. Like, I can't tell you what gift to get your client. You should be asking, how do I build a relationship with this specific client at this specific event that any other gift I give them would not make sense? I'm going to give them something that's unique and special to them. And you can say, wow, that's asking a lot. I'm like, not really. It just means you have to pay attention and listen and ask questions. Because again, if you're starting this relationship before, guess what? You're going to have that virtual call and you're going to see, somebody has a Phillies pennant on their wall or something, and you're going to strike up a conversation about that. Oh, we're both Phillies fans. Like, but boom, there's your gift, right? Phillies t-shirt, Phillies sweatshirt, hoodie, whatever. As like a very, very obvious example. I think of one, I had a banquet that I attended. I was speaking the next day and they invited me to the banquet. I think a lot of speakers would be like, pass. I'm like, this is a great opportunity. Meet people, connect. And it's a major company who I've now done 6 events for. So, and they were multi-day conferences each. So like very, very financially, like one of my best clients, right? Long term. But this banquet, one of the folks mentioned that they had moved to a new city, and the city that they'd come from was really good for foodies. Like, I was a big foodie city, so like I'm not really sure how the food scene is. So I got that person a gift card for what was supposedly the #1 restaurant on Yelp. I printed that out and I sent it, and I said, hey, I don't know if the food like at this place is good, but it's #1 on Yelp. So if this place stinks, like I think you're out of luck, kind of thing, right? But that, like, something like that would hit so much harder because that was based on a conversation we had where we were in person, physically together at the same table talking. And I was asking her, hey, where do you live? Oh, well, we just moved here. And I remembered that, right? But immediately in my head, when that happened, I was like, yes, like, cool. I've got a really cool gift to give to this person. So I kind of make it like a game to think about what's a fun gift I can give my clients to surprise and delight them that would make them stop and be like, wow, like nobody's ever done that before. Like I usually get a fruit basket.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, and Jeff and I were talking before the show, and he knows that the gift that I'm going to give for him, because I'm such a great listener, is I'm going to get him the best Dallas Cowboys jersey that he'll ever want to sport. Never. So
yeah, I look forward to burning that for you. I'm sending you a video.
one of these years we'll be back. One of these years. Well, how do you go about also leveraging philanthropy? I know this is part of your business, but also how does it help differentiate? Because to me, especially with what I do with shark diving and shark conservation, it is one small thing that people will ask me about, but they know it's part of the purpose of what I love and enjoy. And I found that it's connected a lot of people that are especially interested in that. You do a lot of work. I saw some brilliant videos with you with doing your charitable work all over the world. That's fascinating, but I'm sure that has a strongly positive marketing effect as well.
Yeah, it's a great question. There's really kind of 2 areas, right? We could take the conversation in the area of why it's good to do philanthropy and engage with philanthropy in and of itself. I feel like you're kind of getting at more of the business side.
Yeah.
Right. So
we'll do the 501c3 conversation another day.
Yeah. Well, and all I will say about that very quickly is just as speakers, as entertainers, we spend all day promoting ourselves. And so there's something really, really nice about rounding out who you are and how you spend your time by focusing on something much bigger than yourself and something that gives you perspective and makes you realize kind of how tiny you are in the grand scheme of things and how your problems are not really problems. But that's like I said, separate conversation. That's all I'll say about that. But yes, I believe there is a strategic reason as well to align yourself with a philanthropic cause. And I say it that way because I think, unfortunately, everyone's default is like, I'll start a nonprofit. And, you hear that all the time. Be like, oh, what do you want to start a nonprofit? Like, oh, I want to do like an animal shelter. I'm like, okay, well, there's like 74 animal shelters within 5 miles of you where you live. They could really use your help. So it's going to be a way better use of your time, money, energy to help them as opposed to create a new entity, right? You should really only create a new nonprofit if what you are trying to do is not out there already, right? So again, I don't think it has to be like, oh, I don't want to start a nonprofit. That seems like a lot of work, or I'm not at the point where I start that. It's more just align yourself with a cause that's important to you. And ideally, it should, and I think it would be related to your business as well. Like you have with the sharks, like you have your cause, right? Tell me more about your cause.
Well, I promote a lot of ocean conservation to raise money for that kind of awareness. And I've done a lot of charitable work back where I live, especially with kids with cancer. And so any of those kind of things that people relate to just from a context standpoint, especially with sharks and how we think about ocean conservation and saving the planet and all that good stuff.
Right.
People gravitate towards that. It's my purpose. It's not a marketing brand play. being nicknamed Shark had nothing to do with a marketing brand play as a speaker. That'll go with me forever, and I'll be promoting it whether I'm speaking or not. And I think the more times that people know that back end story, the more they gravitate and they want to know more and they want to connect.
Right. Right. So as far as aligning goes, when you have something that you care about, it, number one, rounds you out as a person because you're not just about your business. So it kind of, it reveals more of your personality, which I think is very helpful toward making a connection with folks, which is what we're trying to do. Also, from a very practical point of view, there's been many times where I have, used my nonprofit to preserve my fee integrity, where I'll say, hey, this is what I charge, but
Absolutely.
tell you what, I want to do this event for XYZ reason. So I will do it pro bono. All I ask is that you make a donation to my charity. It's a 501c3 at whatever level you're comfortable with. Then when whoever is watching you do your thing on stage, wow, this guy's great. Like, how much does it cost? Say, well, he normally costs X, but for us, because of Y reason, he was able to do it for a donation to a nonprofit. We made then now you're getting the kind of points, so to speak, like the good guy points of oh, wow. But then you're also preserving that fee integrity and you're getting that out there. And it wasn't just, oh yeah, he did it for free. It's no. He has his fee, but for this reason, he's going to do it in exchange for the nonprofit. So there's that side of it. There's also a side of it to think about. Successful people volunteer. Successful people are at a point in their life and they're at they have kind of a status within the community, oftentimes where they're in a position to be able to donate their time, their money, their energy. They're thinking bigger about their legacy and what they want to leave. And they're kind of taking a more holistic view of their life and what matters and what's important to them. It's very rare that I will not be able to connect with someone in that position through my nonprofit, because when they hear about my nonprofit and the work we do, there's a connection point there, right? There's he's just like me is what they're thinking because I do this, and it could be totally unrelated, right? I'm with children in hospitals, hey, I really care about breast cancer, American Heart Association. I do these events, even though they're totally different causes. There's still a connection because it's the old Seth Godin, people like us do things like that. People people like us care about helping others or care about spreading their joy and giving back. And that forms a bond and a connection point. Last thing I'll say is anybody who knows if they want to talk to me about anything, the way to get to me is through my nonprofit. If you help out my nonprofit, you do something for a nonprofit, we're best friends, whatever you need, happy to help. I'm going to support you donate to win-win, I'm donating to your stuff. Now it's not always reciprocal transactional like that, but it's that's my way of kind of saying this is what's important to me. And I'm offering that up to the world. So you better believe that every CEO, every top dog at company and association, they all have the causes that they care about and they're important to them. So think about how, if you want to get in with a company, in with an association, package it with a 1-for-1. Say, hey, I'm going to be coming in early. I see you have a relationship with the Boys and Girls Club. I'm going to be flying from Vegas to Orlando the day before anyway. So why don't I go over to Boys and Girls Club when I land at 3:00 and I'll do a show for all them and then I'll do your keynote in the morning. Wow, you would do that? Yeah. Why not? I'm going to be there anyway, and I spread some more joy. They're oh my gosh, done. I am now at the front of the line. No one else is, as long as I'm in the realm of who they were looking at, I will beat out the other people. And it's a nice thing to do. It's what am I going to do? I'm going to be sitting in my hotel, watching Sports Center, order room service in my undies. This will get me out in the community. I feel good about it. And now I'm posting about it. People are seeing that. That's good. So, anyway, you're getting me going now.
Yeah, well, CEOs and meeting planners and sales VPs, they all care about their job and creating great events, but they also care about other stuff, life, a lot more. Too many of us forget that, and that's a good way to change it. Now for a little speaking trivia. What is the world record for the most speeches ever given in 24 hours? Back with the answer in just a moment. Before we jump back to the show, here's a moment with speaker, sales coach, master of ceremonies, and NSA member Larry Long Jr. Larry, what does NSA mean to you, and how has it helped you grow your speaking business?
Oh man, NSA has meant the world to my speaking business. And really it's threefold. Number one, and most importantly, the community, the people have been so just welcoming and so helpful. I think they call it the spirit of Cabot. And there's plenty of people that actually exemplify that. Secondly, the content, the knowledge. You don't know what you don't know. And I'm still a newbie. I'm still learning, which is absolutely amazing. Next, and I'm going to combine it, is the connections and collaborations. I've had the opportunity to partner with folks, which has been amazing. So NSA has meant the world to me, my family, and my speaking business.
And here's the answer. According to the Guinness World Records, the most number of speeches ever given in 24 hours is 32. It was achieved by Patrick O'Mara in Birmingham, Alabama on June 8, 2023. Each of the 32 speeches was a different 10-minute or longer impromptu speech. O'Mara gave 33 speeches, but Guinness officially recognized 32 for the record. And now, back to the show. A question I want to ask you from a previous guest. This guest asked a question, and it was about video and how important video was to their business. So how do you utilize video in your business, from the marketing side to social media to staying in touch with past clients? How are you basically leveraging video to build and continue to grow and mature your business?
Oh man, answer that in a lot of different ways. I mentioned before the idea of doing the promo videos. So I do a lot of pitch videos, which are just on my phone, casual, not with the green screen, that are just, hey, I hear you're considering me for an event. I'd love to do it. Something fun if I can throw in there, something that's unique to them. So that's a really effective use of video. Doing the promotional video, whether you're asked to or not, and throwing it in, that's a differentiator. And making them good. Like this whole setup is not that much money. I use Ecamm. I throw their logo in there and in the corner, a nice little backdrop. Like, I can crank out a promo video in 10 minutes, and it's really impressive to the clients, and it's not hard to do anymore. And it hasn't been for a while in terms of making high quality videos cheap and easy. So anyway, that's one way. I would also say you could repurpose more video than you think, especially now with some of the AI tools out there. But I have a social media tracker that I use where I have a virtual assistant who helps kind of repurpose some of my content on different channels. So I kind of lead with the main channel that I'm focused on, and then she'll repurpose that over the next couple days on different channels. So I think you can get a lot more kind of bang for the buck with video than a lot of people often think.
Could not agree more. So what is a question that you would like to ask a future guest on the show?
You know, I knew this was coming. And I still don't have anything. Let me see. No, you know what? I'll say, I'll ask can I ask a social media question?
Yeah.
I'll throw it. So I would like to know, just throw it out there for someone's thoughts of how much to kind of engage with politics, current events, etc. in our position as thought leaders, because I see everyone across the board from like, I don't touch it with a 10-foot pole, to like, everyone knows that I am, this label. And like, if my clients care about that, then, oh, well. And I think, I don't know when this is going to come out, but we're recording before the election. So I think it's very timely, because that's going to be on people's minds. And,
it had let up since the last election, so it'll have at least 4 years to play out.
Right, but if you think about, like, here's a crazy example, right? So, like, and I'm using this as an extreme. It's Tuesday, November 5th, election day. Like, it just feels weird to like post a picture of me at a past event, being like, "Here's 3 ways a professional MC can help your." It's like, dude, no one's talking about this, right? And I see that a lot of times too. It's like, you can tell on like Twitter, everyone's like talking about the World Series, and then there's like the person who has their pre-scheduled, tweets on leadership, and it's just like, wah, wah. Like to me, that kind of looks like that's not great. But I personally, like, I'm not posting anything on that day, or even probably like a couple days around there, because I'm like, I'm not going there, right? I'm just not super political, and so I think I'd be curious to hear how someone would navigate that from a, like, do you feel the need, like, does everyone feel the need to like jump in and say something, or is it like, leave that to the people who either professionally are involved or care about that, and that's like a big part of their brand identity, etc.
Good point. All right, well, let's do a quick recap then based on Jeff's Hall of Fame advice. It's all about the relationships. When you connect with them, make sure to build that relationship early. Help them feel your energy, your passion, and connect with you. You can engineer some of this connection too with putting the right kind of content in front of them. Number 2, remember how special this event is to them. It's about them, not you. Be there for them, sharing that joy with them. Commit to being fully present there. It's not that hard, but for you, it's not just what's next. For them, it's what's now. Number 3, Jeff thinks most of the work comes as a result of the aftercare work he does so well. That's because his goal is to build a relationship. The churn and burn comes with this, but get them the gift of Q-tips so that they will listen to specifically what is a great gift for that person. Make it special. You can do that from listening. They'll leave clues. And a 4th, just for me, being philanthropic will help you differentiate yourself, sure, from a marketing perspective, but it will help you much, much more with finding a purpose. To me, that's worth a lot more. Jeff, and I'm looking forward to see you on a stage, Vegas or otherwise. Any last closing thoughts before we speak ourselves off this stage?
I would say to kind of triple down on the idea that this is very special for your client, and to not minimize that in any way, and to allow them to share with you how excited they are about the ballroom setup, or something that might seem rather mundane to you, but that has been a lot of hard work and effort from them. It's very easy for us to kind of forget, I think, that we are like mini celebrities, or celebrities, like in that moment, right? Especially at that event, that conference. And so I do think that we have the ability to like really elevate and make people feel really good behind the scenes by going above and beyond, and sharing how grateful we are and how amazing everything looks. And again, making them feel special. This is the best event I've ever seen, or this is so well run, or wow, you're so organized. I wish all my clients were like this, or anything that you want to say that's true, but that can kind of raise up a little bit. Because even just the absence of that, I think it's just a missed opportunity. It's not that no one's going to be hurtful or put them down, but you're going to miss an opportunity to make someone feel recognized and feel appreciated and valued. And that's always a good thing.
Friends, make sure to join us at Speakernomics.com and let your voice be heard. I am Kenneth Kinney, your host of the National Speakers Association's podcast, Speakernomics, and this has been another fantastic episode of the show. Thank you, Jeff, for being part of NSA and for lending your amazing, entertaining advice to the show. And everyone listening, thank you for the privilege of your time. And remember, Speakernomics is a podcast where you'll learn to speak, get paid, repeat.